Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Axel. So, what do you think in terms of centralized and decentralized approach for building human digital twins in organizations for companies? So, what's the advisable best practice there?
Right. So, I think it's very, when it comes to designing human digital twins, it's critical to work with decentralized approaches to collecting data. Obviously, when you have a shop floor, you have people all over the place. So, you want to collect the data from all these places where people are actually working. These people are, working on different workstations, maybe at the gate, maybe sequencing, maybe packaging, maybe picking. There's all sorts of jobs that they're working. But you want to collect all this data and then contextualize the data and draw actionable insights from it. But in order to be able to do that, you cannot just collect it from one central point. So it's very important to have technology in place that supports that notion. So there's edge computing, obviously. There's wearable technology. We believe wearable technology is very critical in that regard when it comes to building human digital twins, because it supports that approach that I just described as being decentralized. I mean, that being said, obviously, there's also a need for organizations to, maintain their centralized and top-down approach to data. Because what I was describing is pretty much a bottom-up approach. You see what's really happening on the shop floor, and the data is being generated while workers are, going about their business. But at the same time, you might have a business analytics solution in place that's looking at your organization top-down, right? And the key thing is that you need to be able to connect the data that's coming bottom up with the data that you've got in your systems that are looking at your organization top down. And in order for that to happen, you need application programming interfaces that support that match there.
Right. So you're touching on an important topic: how organization actually consuming the data from
Right.
human digital twins. Right. So
Right.
what are the advisable approaches there? If you can share a few.
Okay, so I mean, obviously, the thing is, when it comes to technology, you want to look for IT-friendly technology as far as the human digital twin is concerned. You need IT-friendly devices, plug-and-play devices, things that you can easily roll out, and technology that doesn't come with a whole lot of integration hassle. Now, in order for the data that you collect in that way, it's very important to provide the application programming interfaces, the APIs, and then organizations really do not have to change much if they can connect these systems to their ERP system, for instance, to their warehouse management systems, to their business analytics, to their business intelligence solutions. Whatever they got in place is very important for them, that they just are in a position to make that connect kind of easy, and that's basically a matter of the interfaces there. I mean, just to look at it, obviously, I like to compare this to drilling a tunnel through a mountain, right? It goes faster if you start drilling from two sides. So you get the top-down perspective and the bottom-up perspective, and you meet both ends if you start drilling from both sides. But it's very crucial that you can, rely on the systems that you got in place, I think.
With a big promise, with a big promise on technology side, we know the amazing things are possible. Question is about very human resistance to change. So
Right.
I know through pandemic, right, a lot of automation technologies saw their acceleration, the entire digital transformation, this buzzy word, right, is out there. Can you please comment on some of the challenges and barriers to adoption that you've seen?
Right. So, I mean, typically, what we see is quite the opposite.
Good.
Because, I mean, the wearable technology that we provide actually makes the job a whole lot easier for the workers. And, we've seen all sorts of things. We've seen workers dancing around when they first tried out our scanners. We've seen workers that, like, when they were part of a pilot project, they would hide the scanners that we would give to them, so they could make sure they would get to work with the scanner the very next day, and all sorts of funny things. I suppose, the what's critical is that you're very transparent with your workers. You need to demonstrate the points, and communicate why you're considering new technology, and then very often they will find the benefits are actually in their favor. And actually, it's kind of like, if you look at your workplace, if you got the best available technology in place, it's much more fun to work that workstation rather than having outdated, old-fashioned stuff that you need to work with that's not very reliable. And it's kind of like that. But when it comes to new technology, I'd say the key is transparency and good communications. But as far as we're concerned, we've we're doing a pretty good job with satisfying the workers, because as I was saying earlier, we're relieving them of a tremendous burden. I mean, if you look at a car maker, for instance, and you can pretty much use any given car maker. Any car maker makes roughly 1,000 cars per plant in a day, right?
Hmm.
And per car, you need to scan approximately 1,000 times. So that means, 1,000 times 1,000, that's 1 million scans per day, right? Now, our scanners weigh as much as 2 ounces, and that makes them at least 10 times lighter than a conventional barcode scanner, right? A scanner gun. But there's other scanners available out there in the market that are even heavier than this. So actually, what we're doing is, with this light technology, we're relieving the worker of up to 1.5 metric tons per day that they do not have to lift, right? And then they can go with the workflow. They don't have to search for their barcode scanner and so forth. And these are the obvious benefits that workers get to experience. Yet it's, as I said, just be open about the new technology that you're introducing, and that's paramount.